Hello, and welcome to a brief overview explaining APEGNB's new Continuing Professional Development Program. This video is designed to give you a high-level overview of the program. It is important to note that this program is in effect beginning in 2024 and that any CPD conducted in 2024 must follow this program. Let's learn more about it. The engineering and geoscience professions face evolving factors, including changes in regulations, codes and standards, as well as considerations like environmental impact, public protection, indigenous issues, climate change, and cybersecurity threats. The expectation is that licensed professionals, whether in technical or leadership roles, continually enhance their knowledge and skill sets through ongoing education and experience to uphold the standards of their professions. As a regulator of the professions with a mandate to ensure public protection, APEGNB's Continuing Professional Development Program must be focused on regulatory compliance, continuing competency, and ensuring professionals engaged in lifelong learning. The APEGNB bylaws require that all professional members comply with the CPD program. To meet the requirements of APEGNB's CPD program, practitioners must complete professional development each year sufficient to meet the program requirements and maintain competency, maintain a record of PD activities and proof of completion for at least 3 years, and submit their detailed activity record annually. Failure to submit the required information can result in license suspension, thereby losing both the right to practice and the right to title. New Brunswick non-resident licensees are not required to submit their hours but must complete an annual declaration to confirm that they are compliant with the CPD requirements in their home jurisdictions. Similarly, retired members who have no employment income and members in training are not required to complete CPD hours. Registrants in their first year of their professional membership are required to complete the mandatory ethical practice learning and regulatory learning requirements. To address the challenges and the evolving regulatory landscape, the 4 Atlantic Canadian regulators, Engineers PEI, Professional Engineers and Geoscientists Newfoundland, Engineers Nova Scotia, and APEGNB have aligned their continuing professional development programs with common principles. CPD is mandatory for practicing engineers and geoscientists, including limited licensees, regardless of their role in direct practice, management, or board positions. The program allows CPD to be completed in 4 areas of learning. Professional members should use their judgment in selecting activities that relate to their individual scope of practice and that contribute to their regulatory compliance and continuing competency in their pursuit of public protection. For example, professional members in strictly technical roles may choose primarily technical learning to maintain competency combined with enough ethical practice learning and regulatory learning to meet the mandatory minimum and to stay knowledgeable about their responsibilities. They may also choose communications and leadership learning to fulfill their job duties and communicate effectively in their roles. In contrast, professional members in management roles may benefit more from focusing on communications and leadership learning combined with the mandatory categories to meet their CPD program. On an annual basis, members are required to claim verifiable ethical practice learning. Acceptable activities to satisfy this requirement include online or in-person ethics course, employer-provided programs covering ethics, diversity, sustainable development, respectful workplace, or related topics, discussion at meetings of ethical practice, and attendance at ethics, diversity, respectful workplace, and/or sustainable development conferences, workshops, or continuing education offerings. Activities which would not be acceptable include claiming you acted ethically as part of your daily practice. This is an expectation, and claiming general ethical discussions throughout the years. Activities must be specific and include actual topic discussed. Members must be knowledgeable regarding applicable regulatory requirements, including the Act, regulations, bylaws, codes, standards, practice standards and guidelines, and requirements of other relevant legislation. Acceptable activities to satisfy this requirement include courses developed by or for engineering or geoscience regulators, making or reviewing changes in regulations, national or provincial codes and standards or practice standards and guidelines, courses that increase Indigenous awareness, as well as serving on boards or committees of organizations having a regulatory focus. Protection of the public is best served by members who continue to explore ways to improve their knowledge of their area of practice for the benefit of their clients and employers, stay current with changes to regulations, codes, and standards related to the practice of their professions, and who keep up with trending changes in the technical application of engineering or geoscience. Examples of training that would apply include the areas of technical regulations, codes, and standards, sustainability and climate change, new or emerging technologies, geoscience field trips, volunteering on an APEGNB practice-related committee, and research as part of a postgraduate university program. Learning opportunities covering these areas include formal technical education, technical sales seminars and product demonstrations, first aid, WMIS or health and safety training, and cybersecurity training. Activities which would not be deemed acceptable include multiple deliveries of the same technical presentation, presenting options to client, and kickoff meetings which are part of your job. Communication and leadership learning is related to advancing a member's professional abilities, including leadership, communication, team building, management, and other non-technical knowledge and skills. It can include learning or improving management skills. Acceptable activities to satisfy this requirement include formal business, governance, and leadership training programs, including MBA or other certification programs, short seminars, webinars, and presentations teaching business, communications, and leadership skills, offering a learning opportunity to others on business, governance, communications, and leaderships, but not to clients, mentoring to assist in career development. Activities which would not be deemed acceptable, volunteer service such as coaching sports, singing in choirs, or collecting for charities, briefing leadership teams or internal committees, and mentoring individuals within the same organization. While continuing education is important for reinforcing knowledge in key technical, leadership, ethical, and regulatory areas that support the protection of the public and the environment, dictating how members educate themselves is not necessary. Professional members are encouraged to use multiple learning methods and must be familiar with the types of backups required for each method. Participation in CPD must be verifiable. To meet the program requirements, professional members must report at least 30 professional development hours per year, which must include a minimum of 2 professional development hours under the ethical practice learning category and 1 professional development hour under the regulatory learning category. And the same activity cannot be claimed in more than 1 category. Professional members who are unable to meet the 30 professional development hours requirement in a given year may apply for a deferral by December 31st and sign an agreement in which they agree to recover their deficient hours in the following year while also obtaining the 30 professional development hours requirement for that year. Ethical practice learning and regulatory learning may not be deferred and must be completed each year. To be granted a deferral, a signed deferral agreement will be required. Deferrals will not be granted for 2 consecutive years. Professional members and limited licensees are required to submit their CPD details on an annual basis through the myapegnb.com member portal and are required to maintain a complete record of their continuing professional development program for a period of 3 years. This file should also contain documentation which can be used to verify reported CPD activities, including registration forms, course syllabi, detailed list of self-study materials, specific dates, and other information about seminars, workshops, trade shows, presentations, or other documents required for audit verification. All documentation shall be retained for at least 3 years by the individual. A detailed summary of how to input your hours through the portal can be found on our website. Thank you for joining us and learning about our improved continuing professional development program. Please visit our website under Professional Development to learn more. If you have any questions about this program, please contact cpd@apegnb.com.